What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I want to talk about fearful avoidance and did they ever really care for you? A lot of times people probably question this after going through a breakup with a fearful. Now, in my experience, I have been in a relationship with one. I've known people who were quick to distance themselves in times when they should be available. But with fearfuls, you'll learn that with them, they take everything personal. They take everything out of context, and they're going to take things the wrong way if they feel like it's an attack. And they do this because they're always in defense mode. And it has to be something that comes from their upbringing. They probably always felt like they had to defend themselves, probably by right. So when they, grow older into adults, they still go through life seeing things that way and dealing with people that way. That's their way of creating a safe place so that they don't have to give too much, like put too much energy into something that they feel like will be a losing battle. So now they just take everything the wrong way. They automatically go into defense mode because they don't know the difference between when someone is really attacking them wrongfully and when they're receiving, constructive criticism, or when they don't know how to accept like a difference of opinion. And so a lot of times when you're in a relationship with a fearful avoidant, what they'll do is shut down or go away for a while. And you may see it as silent treatment, but it's not really silent treatment. They don't think that they're giving you the silent treatment. They feel like they're, they go into fight or flight mode. They feel like they're protecting their peace because you're trying to start something with them. You're trying to be controversial. You want to fight, fuss and argue and stuff like that. And that's not what it is. You're really trying to, have a one-on-one adult conversation with them. And they're never going to see it that way. They're going to always have that inner child in them that has to prove that they're innocent. And now that they're adults, they don't have the energy to do that anymore. So the quickest and the easiest way for them to deal with it is to flight, is to disappear and go away. Now, when it comes to the question, did the fearful ever cared for you? They probably did care for you, and they still do, but it has to be on their terms and their time and when they feel like dealing with you. And that's not fair in a relationship because they really start to show how immature they are. As you get to learn the fearful, this is when all of this will come out, and you probably will go a long time without ever having to deal with this. So when you figure this out about them, it may be a little too late for you to want to really give them a second chance because, like they say, when people show you who they are the first time, believe them. And you can go on for years getting to know someone, being comfortable in a relationship with someone who's a fearful avoidant and not knowing that they are. And this is what you will get out of them when things get rough in a relationship. And every relationship has rough patches. So it's all about putting in the work, whatever you feel is worth. And anytime you feel that you might have to question, did they ever care for you? I don't think that a fearful don't know how to love and care for someone. Again, I think that they live in survival mode. They always feel like if things get a little uncomfortable for them, then I don't have to deal with this because, for whatever reason, that puts that fear in them, for whatever reason. And it's not fair to the relationship because you should fight for what you love. You should fight for what you believe in. But in their mind, maybe they're starting to create these thoughts that maybe this is not for me because it's not peaches and cream all the time anymore. Like I didn't want it to ever come to this. And they never told you in the beginning of getting to know them that this is who I am. this is what you'll see out of me if things get this way. Again, which is not fair to you, but then maybe they felt like giving you the benefit of the doubt because things were going so good that maybe we wouldn't even see this part of the relationship. And that's unrealistic thinking and kind of immaturity, because who don't go through rough times? And that's not only in relationships. You go through rough times with a lot of different people. Family, friends, people you deal with in the workplace. So they just have to learn how to think differently and think outside the box of trying to constantly protect themselves from being hurt. So I want to talk about a few things that may identify a fearful avoidant. They are someone who, again, they take a lot of things personal and they take things out of context. It doesn't matter how much you explain to them that you took it the wrong way and I didn't mean it the way you're taking it. You really mean it a different way. Not saying it in a narcissistic type response, because of course a narcissist is quick to say, well, you took it the wrong way. You took it, they learn to twist things around to mess with your head. If they know that it's working, they're going to continue to respond that way. But we're not talking about narcissists. And a lot of times, a fearful avoidant or a dismissive avoidant can always be confused for a narcissist. But either way it goes, you know that it doesn't make you feel good to have to deal with someone like this, to be in a relationship with someone like this. So you have to do what's best for you, even if that means in the relationship. I see a lot of videos on people saying how to deal with your fearful and stuff like that. Like, and that's up to you if there's something that you feel, it's worth fighting for, but they're pretty much not gonna change, just like a narcissist don't. And I know this from experience. They're set in their ways, they're set in their mind frame. And again, a few things that points out a fearful avoidant is, always in defense mode, take everything personal. They don't fight for what they don't fight for what they should fight for, but instead they'll go focus their attention and really go hard in the paint for things that make them feel good, like a coping mechanism, and it is kind of like a fix. They put work into other things that aren't as important as fixing your relationship. So those are some of the signs of a fearful avoidant. They're going to run. They're not going to stay and fight for you. So when it comes to fight or flight mode, when they do fight for things, it's not going to have anything to do with love for you. They don't fight for love. They don't feel like they have to fight for love. They feel like when they were steadily in a comfort zone with you and everything was peaches and cream and lovebirds, then that's the way that it should have stayed. And again, to me, that shows a lot of immaturity. It shows that they have a lot of growing up to do on their behalf, because nothing is always on the good side. There are going to be some rough patches. So other signs of a fearful avoidant is jealousy. They may be jealous of things that you find interesting outside of being with them. And they play mind games to kind of throw it in your face. Like, well, I kind of think that, you're spending a lot of time doing this lately, or going out with your friends to paint and sip or whatever. The little things you like to do sometimes on the weekend with your friend girls. They may want to throw that in your face if they kind of feel abandoned, like you're not giving them time. That comes from being selfish, because now it's time to grow up and understand that you have your life and I have mine outside of this relationship. What we do on our time should not threaten the union that we've already created, the bond that we already have, the understanding that shouldn't have to be explained, But they don't think that way. They kind of like to throw things in your face sometime when they just get in their feelings. Again, very immature of them. And narcissists do this as well to control you. They want you to feel guilty. They play on your emotions by making you think you're doing too much of something without them. When they do this, when they're lacking supply, they also do it to keep control of you, so that you would start to, check yourself and be like, okay, well, I'll stop doing it, and just give all your time and attention to them, and they have that control again. Whereas fearfuls, they really get so lonely to when they get suck up in their person. They want it all the time and when they want it, and there's no taking a break from them. And even though you're not taking a break because you're hanging out with somebody, or you just you're just having a me day, you're doing something that's completely normal. They're not going to look at it as that. They're going to tell you, okay, I understand, but they really don't feel that way. They kind of feel like that now you're distancing yourself, so maybe I should do it. So this is when they flight again and kind of, pull away. They back away from you a little bit, because they're going to use that as a reason to start to say things like, well, maybe this was too much for you. Maybe I was expecting the wrong things out of you. They start to mess with you into thinking that this is not for us because you chose to do something aside from them one day. So in conclusion, I just wanted to speak on fearful avoidance. If you ever ever been in a relationship with one, and the signs to kind of look out for when it comes to fight or flight mode, they're going to let you know what they think is worth fighting for. And if you think that they're really going to put up a fight to save a relationship, they're probably not. So don't hold your breath. And it's up to you if you don't want to give up on them. There are ways to deal with people on that spectrum. It's not for me, but someone else may have the patience, the time to really deal with that. I just feel like anyone who's putting in the time, and the time and the work in a relationship, and the respect that you put into it should be given. You want that same respect from your partner that you give your partner, and they should see that. But they don't really see things that way. They look at respect as, well, I thought I was respecting you by not mistreating you. That's how they define things. They just want to kind of wrap everything up in one definition. And they have a lot of growing up to do when it comes to, just really defining commitment. What does commitment look like to you? When it comes to a fearful avoidant, they're probably not going to be able to answer that, because again, they look at they look at the childhood nurture rhyme with sitting in a tree, KISSING, and they just look at everything as just being that way and happily ever after without any bumps in between. And we all know we lived, and it's not like that. We're going to go through things, we're going to get through things, but we're going to be all right, And with the fearful, they're not looking forward to having that conversation, because it makes them uncomfortable. And they will quickly dip out on you without any explanation. You'll just have to come to realize what's going on. You'll have to figure it out for yourself. You're going to learn that side of them when it's just a little bit too late, So that concludes this video. I want to thank y'all for watching. Leave your thoughts down below, and I will talk to you soon.